Hello everyone, this is Jardy Orange and welcome to the conclusion for 1 week of defending. Unfortunately, I don't have any new defending footage for you because I just couldn't help myself. Like, even when I was trying to defend, I'd end up going offensive. Just 1 week was too much, so it ended up actually 6 days and I couldn't bring myself to do one more day. It's not because I found defending completely boring or anything, it's just a whole week of it when I'm more of an offensive player. It was too much. But I did learn a lot about the game during that week. And yeah, just different points of views on all the units. And that's what I'm basically going to go over. I'm just going from what I think about each unit, starting with the best to the worst. But before I start with that, I'd like to say stat-wise, from the start of the week to the end of the week, there's only been a slight improvement, so defending isn't overly better. It's just, yeah, it's got that slight advantage. It definitely has a slight advantage, especially since I hadn't really played defending that much. And I think the ones that did get me the most points was catapults and swords. And that for the rest, yeah, not so good. So I'll start off with my new love of swords because they're so fucking good. Like, everyone just gets swords. They have everything. They're just fucking awesome. I don't even know what to... They're so versatile, I guess. That's the main way to sum them up. I'll give them 5 stars. Like, they are the top unit. Just because they're good in every situation. Like, they... Pretty much every situation. Like, yeah, they're not good when they... No one's good when they're getting hit by catapults. And that's the thing. The things that swords are bad at, most units are bad at. It's not like it's just swords. For example, cavalry charging you in the back like this, that happens to spears unless they're Leonidas, because they're facing the wrong way. That basically happens to every unit. Pikes, spears, the ones that counter cavalry, if they just let you charge them in the back, they still get wrecked. And that's the way it should be. If cavalry just comes up behind you and smashes you in the back, it's going to fucking hurt. And not only that, you can retaliate when they retreat with your pylons. And then you got traps, so if you want to defend, you can defend. If you want to go forward and kick some ass, you can do that. Because when you're going forward, you got all that armor, you just take so little damage from archers, etc. if you're facing them. Compared to spears and pikes who fuck. Especially pikes, you start shooting them with archers, holy shit. But of course, if you guys think they're fine, I don't care. Shit, I've got my swords now, I've fun with them, fuck it. That's all I've been playing. Like, if I screw up with swords, I can still get pretty good points, as long as I remember to buy consumables because of that new bug. If you forget those consumables on high tier swords though, they're not anything special. Because they're massive buffs. Like, I think you get 18 more armor altogether. And that's not including the other stats. So you have such good choices. Like, you can go traps if you're defending, if you're going on the attack, you take those massive buffs. But one thing I should have pointed out before I continue this video is this is all about high tier units. Like, I have all high tier units apart from pikes and horse archers. So let's move on to the unit I think is the second strongest. It would have to go to cavalry, because they're so good at exploiting when other people fuck up, basically. Like, they're so good at taking advantage of situations where the enemy make a mistake. And when you make a mistake as cavalry, you have that speed. And you could have 10 horses or 5 horses left and still do a lot of damage. You don't actually need full units of cavalry to do heaps of damage. And as you probably noticed in this video, that's all I'm doing over and over, is I get my heavy infantry into combat, or my horses into combat, and then I just wedge them in over and over, just keep doing the same thing. And that's why I don't think blobbing is exactly the greatest strat. Like, I've heard people say, oh, it's so great because you get heaps of damage, but look what happens. Like, you can just get wrecked by cavalry. They punish blob players so much. So I'll give cavalry 4 stars because they still do take a lot of damage from things. Like, if they happen to get shot by archers, or they happen to either catapult or ballista bolt, or they get into combat with most units in the frontal attack, they will lose. But certain situations on cavalry, you're going to get just heaps of points. Like, it's not that uncommon to get 6k or more points on cavalry. So for the third strongest unit, I'd have to say it's a mix between archers and catapults. They're both pretty damn good. But let's start off with catapults. What you get is, you get this long arc of fire, and when you hit, it hits for a massive amount of damage, and it rarely misses. You can also shoot into terrain that's not even revealed to you with alternative fire, and it basically forces the enemy to advance and go into bad situations. Like, they advance and then they get ambushed. But the thing is with artillery is you have to kill the enemy artillery most of the games before you can start getting points. Because if the minute artillery shoots, they become a big target for other artillery players. So what can end up happening is you're too busy trying to kill the enemy artillery that you don't get enough time to actually do damage to other units. And it's just a bunch of things, like you have to rely on your team not pushing too much, and you have to rely on your team not defending too much either. Like, you want some vision, but you don't want them to go balls deep. And then you have to watch out for archer units that might have snuck through the forest. It's just there's heaps of things you have to worry about, but at the same time, you can change the battle. So I'll give them 4 stars overall. And the only reason they really seem so strong is because of sword units, which is, why they're 5 stars. Like, if they're trapping all around artillery, then it's a totally different ball game. So let's move on to archers, which to me is a unit that's saving the Greek side. Like, if I play Alexander, I'm cavalry. So there's 2 units. There's archers and there's cavalry. But if I'm playing Leonidas and Miltiades, I'm going archers. That's just it. They're the strongest unit, apart from maybe cavalry, on the Greek side. So let's look at what they have. They have a good firing arc, unlike slingers. They do a shit ton of damage, apart from when they're firing into heavy infantry that is coming towards them. At the moment, there's a cliff bug, which is pretty much making them stronger than they need to be. They would be, well, they are 5 stars right now. The minute they fix that cliff bug, I'd say they're 4. And of course, they have a big advantage over javelins. They have like a longer range. They have the perfect range to me. It's not too much, but it's enough. Like, that should stay the same. So it sounds pretty good. You got this blade machine gun unit that rips units apart. So what are they weak against? Well, if you go into the forest areas, you do way less damage. And if you get caught by something, you're dead. That's just it. And that's a fair enough trade-off to me. Like, I've had that happen to me. I've just got run over by too many cav, and I'm dead. That's fair enough. So that's why I think they're 4 stars. Like, if they're defended enough, they will kill everything. But if they get caught, they're dead. And it does say that's only a 10% nerf to your damage in forests. But what you gotta understand is that's the difference between doing armor pen damage and doing normal damage. So hitting for 5 instead of hitting for 20 something. That's how big that 10% or 15 whatever percent it is. That's how fucking big it is. So when you read that and you see 10%, it's not like other games where you subtract 10% from your damage. Because how it works is, they have a certain amount of armor. But I'm taking, so if I'm a few points over that, then that's how much I'm hitting for. But let's remove 10% of my full damage, and now my damage is under their armor. So I'm only hitting for my armor penetration amount. That's why in this game I've noticed a lot, like, it's not like other games where small stats don't mean anything. Small stats mean the world in this game. For example, if you have swords, tier 9 swords, and you don't bring your consumables, you can lose to tier 6 ones. That's the whole thing. Like in this game, 9 more armor is 9 less damage per arrow. That's massive. And that's why if you are getting experience slowly, upgrade your units. Because you're going to be tier 4 or tier 6 for a while. So upgrade them, because it makes all the difference. Non-upgraded units, like I always skip a bunch of units and just go straight to tier 8. Because I farm a lot of XP. But if you're not doing that, you might as well upgrade tier 6 units. Because they make the biggest difference. Those upgrades are massive. For example, I thought archers were pretty fucking weak, and then I upgraded them, got 1 bow, and now they're the strongest fucking thing ever. While I was doing this commentary, Dolphy just linked the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. And I'm not joking, it's hilarious. It only goes for like 20 seconds or something. Check it out, it's fucking awesome. And I've lost my train of thought after seeing that. That's the funniest. That's why Blisses are getting 3 points in this. They're not getting, oh god. That's literally the best Total War Arena video I've ever seen. That's the fucking best thing. You gotta see it. It's amazing. So the next bunch of units I'm going to talk about are really good in the right situations. Like I'm going to say there's 3 stars, but in some situations they are way better than that. The reason they aren't as good as the other units is because they're situational, and you need to play them obviously a lot more to learn what situations they're better in. And some of them are just bugged. They're just buggy as hell, so you know, they would be way, like, you know, really good unit if they weren't so buggy. So let's start off with slingers. Statistically, they should be better than archers, but because of their fire arc, I'm going to give them 3 stars. It's as simple as that. That's enough to, you know, move you down the ranks. Yeah, that fire arc is nowhere near as good as archers. That's it. And it's only one thing that makes them weaker than archers. But that's a massive deal. Like, if you can't shoot over cliffs, etc., that's a massive deal. But yeah, they can't really move, they can't really change that. They're stuck like that. Because if they did make their fire arc better, then they're just better archers, basically. So that's a quick one, that's out of the way. Now let's move on to ballistas, who suffer from the same problem. On certain maps, they are way strong, like just like they're 5 stars on Rubicon. But then other maps, you know, and depending on which ways the enemies advance towards you, you might find yourself pretty limited in what you can actually shoot at. And you don't have the advantage of catapults where when they do shoot, they're doing just, they're just fucking doing a massive amount of damage. They, like, ballistas do a fair amount of damage, but catapults can hit units on any angle, and they still do a massive amount of damage. And I've heard ballista players, say this 100 times but ballistas can shoot into combat. Well, guess what? Catapults are that bloody accurate, they can shoot into combat and do a lot more damage than ballistas. And then there's the other advantage, I guess, of ballistas. They have a longer range, so they can shoot down catapults. But the thing is, half the time, ballistas don't shoot it. Even when they get a shot on the catapult that's a direct hit, it won't actually destroy the catapult. But if I shoot my catapult directly into your ballista, that ballista's fucking gone skis. So as far as I am concerned with ballistas, their balance, as in certain maps they are way too strong, in certain maps they are way too weak. You know, so people are always going to complain about ballistas unfairly, I guess, because they are so good on certain maps. You know, so they face them on that map and that unit's fucking way too strong. But when they face them on a map like Germania, which this is the other thing I find frustrating when you talk to artillery players. So to me personally, I think Blisses are weak as hell on Germania. And then Ballista players say to me, no, they're really strong on every map. So then I say, well, then they're overpowered. If they're just as good as they are on Rubicon, on Germania, then they're way too strong. And then they say to me, oh no, they're not strong. So what the fuck, what is it? Are they strong or are they weak? It can't be both. I mean, you even see this on the forums. Someone's like, you know, Blisses are weak on certain maps, their fire arc is shit, which it is. And then someone come in, well, I've played on there and got like 10,000 points, they're fucking, you know, fine as they are. And then on another post, someone would say, Blisses are way too strong, and the same person would be like, they're not strong at all. It's like, what side are you fighting for, exactly? If you're trying to say they're fine as they are, and they're balanced, just say they're fine as they are, and they're balanced. Like, as simple as that, just come straight out with it. Like, to me, Cavalry, and like all the ones I said were tier 4, well, 4 stars should I say, they're the ones I think are fine as they are, and they're balanced. Like, yeah, people are going to hate on them, because their units they're using are weaker. But I think those units are fine. Like, all the other ones have to get to that stage, and heavy swords might need a slight, you know, slight nerf. I know a lot of people play heavy swords, but fuck, come on. They need a slight nerf. Like, removing one pylon, it's more like, remove some traps or something. But if CA thinks they're fine, that's fine with me. I'm going to continue playing heavy swords. They're fucking great. But let's move on to a different unit. So the next unit is Pikes, which I think are about 3 stars. The reason being is, people don't know how to use them, so it must require some skills, because half the people are getting 5,000 friendly fire with them. And then you have the factor that they're buggy as shit, which can be exploited, like, not so much by people that don't play Pikes, but I play Pikes fairly often. So when I see Pike units bugging out, I know that's my opportunity to wipe them off the face of the planet. And because of that, no matter what units I play, I'm never scared of Pikes. But the thing is, if they do fix the bugs, they could go from tier, like 3 stars, should I say, you know, a pretty fucking average unit, to being 5. Because they have so much potential, but it can be, their weaknesses, their bugs can be exploited so easily. So Creative Assembly might be thinking, oh, well, we're looking at the stats and Pikes seem to do pretty decently, they're fine, but they feel so clunky. Like, that's the other thing you have to take into consideration. If a unit feels really clunky and really crappy, not many people are going to play that unit. And it's going to feel underpowered, because it's so fucking, like, you can't really be sure if it's going to work this time or not. It's just like rolling the dice. And by the way guys, if you can hear the fan in the background, it's bloody hot here, so sorry about that, but it's too hot not to have the fan on. So we have 3 units left, and 2 I think are 2 stars, and try to guess which one I think is 1 star. But let's start off with the first 2-star unit, which I think is Engineers / Scorpions / Immunes. They got 100 fucking names. And the reason being is, they have a shit fire arc, and they don't have alternative fire, and when I see them, when I'm playing other units, I look at it as 3 points. It's not so much when I play them, well, I suck at them, but I've never faced Engineers / Scorpions and stuff where I thought, oh no, it's them. Basically, I just look at them and go, there's some easy points. Archers, shoot the hell out of them. Slingers, shoot the hell out of them. You're going to kill them before they kill you. Cavalry, run them over. You know, in my opinion, the best thing they have is traps. And why? I'll just play heavy infantry if I want traps. I don't need to play some fucking budget unit. And until someone just, like, well, when I have died to them, it's because they should have killed me in that situation. It's not like they were strong or anything. It's because I was playing heavy infantry and I decided to go through swamps or some fucking bullshit. Basically, I've never felt bad when getting shot down by engineers, because I've killed them that much and fucking got that many points out of killing engineers. I've got way more than they have got off me, so they seem weak as hell. And when I play them, they seem even weaker. But I don't care about that unit at all. I think it's just horrible. So if they want to nerf it or buff it or just keep it as it is, I really don't care. I just think, in my own opinion, that they are shit. Some people say they're good, but I really don't care what they do with that unit. If they nerfed it, it's not going to affect me in the slightest, because they're not worth playing to me. If they buffed it, then I might try them, but I'm not really concerned. There's other units out there I can play that are way better, in my opinion. But let's move on to spears, which the second unit I think are 2 stars. And any of you guys that have followed me from day one, I've played spears I've played spears for so many patches. But guess what? I don't play spears anymore. The only time I do is if I'm bringing one spear unit to support my ranged units, because I don't have higher tier pikes yet. And the reason I used to love spears so much is because in the forest area you could play light spears or medium spears and you'd have a pretty big advantage. So just go over my old videos and you'll see why I used to love spears. There's a lot of replays of it on Leonidas and Miltiades, etc. But now the barbarians are king of the forest, so there goes that advantage. Because what you have to remember is, there was no good sword units that were light infantry. Now there is. So goodbye that one great thing about spears. Now I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me and say spears are fine. Which I don't care about, because I have my swords now, and I'm sticking with them. And maybe it's my own personal playstyle. I'll just rather a unit that does pretty damn well against everything than a unit that is relying on cavalry suiciding into you. And I have a tier 9 Leonidas and I have a tier 9 Scipio, and at the moment I would rather be Scipio when it comes to infantry, should I say. Like when it comes to range, I'll be any Greek commander. It doesn't really rely on commander abilities. And it's not because Leonidas is weaker than some commander and Miltiades is weaker than some commander. It's because the only sword unit they have is Silver Shield Swordsman. And one thing you have to know about Leonidas is his big buff is he raises melee defense. So now look at the Silver Shield Swordsman's melee defense. So they're medium infantry with a shit melee defense. So they don't work at all with Leonidas. You know, that's just it for me. And now you could say the same thing for Scipio, but you're heavy swords, so you have more armor. And plus, you've got the benefit of increasing it by a shit ton more than what Leonidas does, even though you can't shield bash. But I know a lot of people are out there saying, oh, well, I play Leonidas and he does just as well against swords and he's great. Well, good for you, man. I'll stick with my Scipio, thank you very much, and you enjoy your fucking spears. Because I have a feeling when I run into you, I am going to fucking kill you. Unless, of course, I am drunk as shit, or I am half AFK, or you basically beat me by skill. You know, but if it comes to even skilled mash, I'm going to kick your ass. And you always hear the argument that Leonidas always has his abilities up, where Germanicus and Scipio, their abilities go on cooldown. Well, I would rather kick your ass once. Like, you're not going to resurrect from the grave. I'll win the fucking first combat and you're dead. You can win the second one with your ghost units. And that's pretty much like saying, okay, if you go in and kill 3 tier 5 units, I'm going to beat you, but still suffer casualties. So, yeah, you're sacrificing your ally so you can win. And the funny thing is, I'm not going to push oath against a low tier unit, because my units will kill them without me even pushing an ability. I can stand there. If you look at one of the replays in this video, I pretty much stand there and get charged by 3 tier 6 units and they fucking die. So I don't actually have to use my abilities to win against one of them. Like 3 of them I'm pretty sure I popped oath, because I'm going to get a shitload of points from that. But yeah, if I'm just facing one, I'll just kill them and then I'll oath your Leonidas. And then we're going to be stuck in this never-ending combat where it's going to come down mostly to whoever gets the most support. But if the combat drags out for 5 minutes, I'll end up winning. Anyways, fuck that debate. That's not even part of the video. That's not important to this video, so let's just move on. So for the last unit, we have Horse Archers. Now, I haven't actually played Horse Archers, but in my opinion, they are -5 stars. They are not worth playing at all. There's not one instance where I was like, oh shit, Horse Archers. I've never seen them do well for their tier, because I see a lot of tier 9 Horse Archers, but they're never doing as well as any other tier 9 units. And when I actually see tier 9 Horse Archers on my team, I actually think, oh shit, we probably have lost this. Because what these tier 9 Horse Archers have done is they've taken a tier 9 spot. So instead of having tier 9 swords, you now have tier 9 Horse Archers. And I would rather tier 6 normal archers. I'd rather fucking pretty much anything else. And I've played 1,200, 1,300 games. I might have seen Horse Archers get 3,000 points once. And that's it. Never seen them do anything fucking special ever. I'll never purchase them. They're useless. And like even with cavalry, which they should count up, is they could shoot the cavalry units and then kite them. I've never been scared of them on cavalry. It's just I've never been in a situation where I was like, oh no, Horse Archers, oh no. And I'll never actually comment on any Horse Archer posts on the forums, because anyone who hasn't figured out that they're shit is probably just trolling you. Like they haven't played Horse Archers. They don't care. Like it's probably just a troll fucking post. And the people that are legitimately saying Horse Archers are good, play Horse Archers, but they're shit on every unit. So basically it's a topic I try to avoid because I just can't believe how shit they are, yet people say they're good. And then those same people I see in game getting their asses kicked while playing Horse Archers, and they will still defend it. They will still say Horse Archers are fine. Well fuck, you stick with your shitty fucking Horse Archers. I don't really care anymore. There's so many good units out there, you can stay with that. And I'll play everything fucking else that kicks their ass. And that's one thing I'm learning about this game. If you think swords are good, like I do, play swords. If you think cavalry is good, then play cavalry. If you think spears are good, then fine, stick with spears. Because if you actually start playing these units and everyone else does the same, like everyone thinks that unit's good, so we'll play that. That unit's good, so we'll play that. What will end up happening is they will nerf it because so many people are fucking playing it. I'm pretty sure, anyway. I'm not 100% sure, but they should. Because if you actually look at when you queue up on teams, it's full of swords. Everyone's swords. There's not one game where there isn't any swords. And pretty much I've played so many games now, I've finally got my swords up to a higher tier, where I can just play whatever's strong. And to me that's swords, so if you disagree, you stick with that unit and I'll stick with my swords. It's fine with me. Anyway guys, if you liked this video, please subscribe and thumbs up.